All right, we're back. I was working on this bottle, and you can see I went and did a bit more detail in the reflections. So I started just with my sienna brown on top of the blue. I just kind of started to shade in where I saw that the blue was a bit toned. And I'm just drawing the shapes. I was able to kind of identify that this was like a little person shape, so I shaded it in that shape. And I'm adding my cerulean blue back on top. I also see some areas that are lighter, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase out those areas that look a tiny bit lighter to me. I've said this a lot. It's nice because a colored pencil can be erased. You can roll away that wax and it leaves a little stain of the local color, which is a nice underpainting for when you go to tint, because you've already got a lighter version of the color under there. All right, and that's what's going to start to develop the reflective surface of the bottle. I also noticed some areas along the side here that are darker, and I'm going to use my sienna brown. And you really could do this with the blue cerulean or the sienna brown first. I'm just doing the brown because I feel like it's easier for me to see. And I'm doing my cerulean on top. So before I do any more with this bottle, I'm going to start to work on the color behind it. So we have a light violet in this flower. I'm actually just going to go ahead and use my regular violet. And as I'm drawing this, I realize this is much bigger, the circle in the center, but no one's going to see the reference, so it shouldn't be too big a deal. So I'm going to use my violet. I'm putting in that light coat. This is also going to have a violet base. So I'm going to just lightly sketch that in. And then I see it starts to distort inside the bottle. So although there are some shadows and tints of this violet inside of the bottle, I'm starting with my base local color, or the color that I generally see. All right, and then that follows up through here. And it comes through in here. And there's a little distortion here, so this petal looks a little distorted. All right. After that, I'm going to add into this part, I'm going to add a little bit of the mulberry, or if you have a red violet, or magenta would also work. And this is actually more purple than having that pinkish purple. So I'm going to wait on that, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to burnish my purple so that now my purple has a reddish tone. And this is all pretty much in direct light, so it's all right that these feel intense. The center here is kind of like just plain red. Whoops, a little too much pressure. A little plain red violet. Now these look kind of too intense, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tint this purple slightly, just to lighten it, give it a little more contrast. I noticed, Courtney, on yours that you did a pretty good job trying to create those different values. So good work. All right, so I'm going to work on this edge now. So this is like a light violet. So I'm going to add my white. So I had violet. Now I'm tinting it. And then I'm going to actually put a little more purple back on top, or violet. Sorry, I use those words. They're the same. They mean the same thing. I just kind of use them back and forth. And I'm just going to do a whole nother glaze of that, both layers. Right. There's kind of magenta polka dots on it. I'm going to add my polka dots. And I'm doing 2, 1, 2, trying to create somewhat of a pattern. So it has more of that printed feeling, even if it's not exact to what I was looking at there. And then this last little ring here is a light pink. So I'm going to use a base coat of white very lightly. So I know that my tint is going to be very light. And then I'm going to do another light coat of the blush pink. And then burnish on top. Burnish meaning I'm applying firm pressure. And I know I'm ignoring this right now, but I just want to show you how it looks through the glass. So then where it's in the glass, I'm going to look at what happens in terms of tints and shades. So like I see some white or lighter tints coming through here. So I'm putting those on top. And then where it's toned a tiny bit, I'm just going to take my yellow, because that's the complement to violet. I'm going to put that yellow in, and then I'm going to go back over with my violet. And if it gets too dark, I'm going to tint it with white. It feels a little too yellow, actually, so I'll go back in with some more purple. And that's going to give me my shadows. Now where the pink is, I believe you have a true green. So where I see that in reflection, I will just use the green. And that will give me some different values in there. Okay, now on top here is the green. Because I'm not sure what you have for green, we'll use a true green. Actually, you know what? I made it with light cerulean and canary. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Got a little bit of colored pencil smushed in here. All right, so again, I'm just going to start on this base here. And then I will eventually go to the top, but I kind of want to show you the bottom part so this video doesn't get so incredibly long. So in on the glass on the surface, there are some really bright white spots. I'm just going to work around those. All right. Then I'm going to use my light blue cerulean. So we're starting to create that green. Because obviously analogous colors make new colors. So we're using yellow and blue to create green. But notice how I'm not really thinking about the surface of the bottle. All I'm thinking about is what am I looking at through the bottle. Noticing my drawing of my flower is way off here, but so what, right? Okay, so it looks, and then I use white on top of that to get more of a kind of spring green color. And I'm not really pressing super hard with the white. I'm just firm pressure, circular motions to kind of blend it into the color I need it to be. Okay, and then I would do that throughout. This is a kind of a tinted version. So I'm starting with the white, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue, and I'm going to use the white to just get that tint. Same thing in here. So it's like a puzzle. I'm putting together a puzzle. Just erasing some of my pencil line there. Along this edge, I actually see some of the violet distorting. So I'm just going to put that right on top of the colors I have in there. Let it do what it wants to do. And I'm just going to keep working this until I'm happy with it. But the important thing is that you understand you're getting a base value to start with, and then you're going to put tints and tones on top. Let me finish this up. What's going on up here? All right, so this is also kind of distorted. Sorry about my dogs. Okay, I actually just jumped a little bit there to get that filled in, but so the point is that you can still mix from this limited amount of colors. You get your base in, and then you work on creating lighter and darker versions of them. For your glass up here, I think that a little bit of violet actually distorts up through here too. So I'm going to go right on top. If you work lightly, you can kind of see how it doesn't really affect the color too much. There is some purple over here, I think. Some white. It's a really nice, oops, oh, too hard, I guess. I'm gonna have to order some white. I've gone through a lot of white colored pencil. All right, the next, so then you're pretty much just making the colors for each one of the pieces of the flowers. And you can look over here to see kind of those combinations that I used. I am going to have to stop this video because we're at 14:45, but hopefully that helps you think about the bottle. I'm going to finish up the rest of the bag and post it. All right, good luck.